2012 Volkswagen GTI. It's a Mark 6. This one happens to have an APR Stage 1 Plus tune on it, so it's a little more powerful than your typical stock GTI. Has aftermarket catback exhaust by No Name, and the extent of the modifications is pretty low. It's also running some pretty aggressive summer tires. He's got some Dureza Z2 Star specs on here. I've spent a good amount of time in these in my past. My dad actually owned one for about a year. So I pretty much know what to expect in one of these. I haven't driven one with the APR Stage 1 tune on it though, so it's a little bit different feeling. It's definitely a little more powerful. The boost, he has a full little boost gauge here with an oil temp gauge as well. That's not stock. It's always fun to watch your boost build. Now, the one gripe that I had with this car when I used to drive it was the turbo lag around town. Basically, unless you're completely thrashing the car 100% of the time, there's just this giant lag, and it's to about 2300 RPM, and then it picks up, and then you get this giant influx of power, and it's great after that. But for just driving around town, daily use, I find it to be pretty torqueless down low, and the engine feels somewhat anemic before boost. The catback exhaust on this car is actually really quiet. I'm surprised. It sounds completely stock, honestly. First thing I notice when I get into this car is the steering wheel. If I could yank this steering wheel off and put it on my car, I'd do it. Honestly, this is one of the best steering wheels I've ever felt, and it's also great to look at. It's really thick. It's got all the indents and ridges in the right place. It's got this beautiful red stitching on it as well. Black leather. You really couldn't ask for something that's better in a car for handling feel. Steering wheel is so important, and Volkswagen really got it right with this one. The guy who owns this car, David, he switched out the shift knob for one that is like this giant metal piece. I don't know. It's huge. It's not necessarily to my taste. I like something that is a little more smaller, nimbler, but it gets the job done. Another great thing about this car interior-wise are the seats. Thankfully, it has the plaid seats. I really couldn't ask for a cooler seat design. I love that Volkswagen does that. It's something they've kept to their old tradition, GTIs. I think that every GTI should have these seats. Leather, I mean, sure, leather has its place. It looks great and all, but on a GTI, these are the kind of seats that belong in the car. That APR Stage 1 tune makes a difference. It really does. You get a little more punch in there, no doubt about it. One thing that does annoy me about the GTI is you've got this little shift light on the dash. It tells you to shift up into 6th gear. I don't really want to shift up into 6th gear right now. Granted, I'd get better fuel economy if I shifted up into 6th gear, but it's just, I don't really want those electronic nannies telling me what to do in a car that is as performance oriented as this one is. One really nice thing about the GTI is the pedals. They're aluminum pedals. They feel great. They have little rubber inserts in them as well, so they're grippy to the bottom of your shoes. The only complaint I have about them is in wet weather, so snow, ice, whatever, also rain. Since it's aluminum, your foot tends to slip off of it really easily, and I found that the clutch is actually really easy to fall off of in the wet, which is not something you really want happening when weather conditions are bad. You just got in the car, you need to go somewhere. It's just something that might have been overlooked somewhat, I don't know. Another complaint I have about this car is the climate controls. So if you were to just get in this car and you didn't actually know where the buttons were, where the dials were, it's really hard to figure out what is what, because you've got these 3 knobs here, and the little symbols, there's symbols that go all the way around the circle, and you can't even see some of them from the driver's seat. You have to lean over to look at the symbols to see what they are. An interesting thing going on with Volkswagen is that even after their whole diesel scandal, which is, it's not after, it's still ongoing, there's still plenty of problems going on there, but their gasoline engine cars are selling great. As I toss it into a corner there, you really feel the weight of this car. It's tough to get around it. You have an over 3,000 pound car, and it shows it. While I do think the car is heavy, I also think that it handles well. The steering is direct enough. It's not a hydraulic rack, so it doesn't provide you that ultimate road feel of older cars that might have had hydraulic racks. It's electric, and while it's nicely weighted and feels good going around corners, you feel somewhat separated from the driving experience to a point. So the owner of this car is quite a fan of the boost. He has two stickers, the same exact stickers, one on one side, one on the other. Giant letters that say boost. It's fun. You get on it, you see the boost gauge loading. It goes up slowly at first and then flies up there. I still haven't heard the exhaust in this car, which is kind of interesting because it is aftermarket. But they've really done a good bit of sound deadening back there, unfortunately. Outside the car you can hear it a little more, but it's pretty quiet until you get in the boost, that is. Car suspension soaks up bumps nicely. I was on this road last night with my car and I was just being thrown, I mean I wasn't being thrown all over the place, but it was a much harsher ride. This is stock suspension, so it's got all the nice damping. That boost is so fast. This car is significantly faster than a stock GTI. Man, you get on it and it is just roaring down the road. Wow. These tires grip great. Oh man. The brakes are just okay. Wouldn't say that they're the best brakes out there in the world. Man, it just jumps in corners. Jumps from corner to corner. It's really just unnecessary to shift down between corners. You can stick it in 4th gear and just leave it. 5th even, you get the boost. There's no problem. I don't know, I think it does a lot of great things on paper, and it goes fast in a straight line, but I don't exactly get that emotional experience that I get with other cars that are also quick like this. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Had an awesome time driving this GTI APR Stage 1 Plus. If you have a Mk6 GTI, buy it. It's worth it.